Welcome back, everyone. So today I thought we would play with a little bit of balance. So what you'll need is just a little bit of space around you. Feel free to be near a wall, a chair, a couch, a countertop, a table, just anything that's going to offer you a little support if you need it. If you have a block at home, it's helpful to have a block. I can show you how to use it during our warm-up. And a strap, or you could use a belt or a tie. And again, those are just some supports to help you gradually come into the posture, just to give you places to pause before you move on to the next phase. So let's begin just by grounding ourselves, right? In order to balance properly, you need to find your footing, right? You need to find where your connection is into the earth, and that connection between the earth and the sky, and so where you fit in between. Right. So wherever you are, standing up, if you feel like you need to hold on to something for balance, feel free to hold on. Otherwise, let your eyes close. And just feel gravity. Let gravity take your the muscles across your forehead and soften the forehead down. Soften your cheeks and your jaw. And let your shoulders melt down away from your ears. Let gravity take the weight of your arms from your shoulders down into your hands, into the tips of your fingers. Let the weight of your torso sink down, your legs. And let all of that energy from gravity pull all the way down into the soles of your feet. Feel as though your feet are spreading out and wide. Take a deep breath in. Take a slow breath out. And now begin to draw that energy up from your roots, right? So you can mindfully open the roots and the soles of your feet, and just drawing that grounding energy up through your feet. And feeling that come up from your feet, through your legs, up to your thighs. And just give your thighs a little bit of a squeeze. And as you squeeze here, make sure that you're not completely locking out your knees, right? There's a squeeze. If you lock your knees and just let go a little bit, and keeping the muscle energy of your legs. Okay, so connecting with your sense of grounding and your sense of strength. And letting that energy move upward through your pelvic floor. So you're drawing the pelvic floor in and up, and starting to hug the belly muscles in, right? So having the ribs pull in and down, feeling a firmness across the belly to support your back. Okay, so here you find your strong and steady center. And from being grounded and strong and centered, and now let that energy rise up through your spine. Feel it lift up through the crown of your head and extend even upward beyond the crown of your head. Shoulders soften down and away, palms are relaxed, fingers are relaxed. And here you find this strong connection between the soles of your feet and the crown of your head upward. Once again, draw in a full breath. And open your mouth, exhale. Let your breath slide through and all the way out. If you had your eyes closed, just gently flutter them open. And so you want to be standing next to your support. Right? Have your feet hip width distance apart, and that's about 2 fist widths between your big toes. And this is where, if you have a block at home, it's going to be very helpful with this exercise. So if you have a block, you're just going to place it between your upper inner thighs, right? So you feel like you're just kind of hugging very gently the block between the upper inner thighs, right? If you don't have a block or anything that can resemble a block, well, you can still do this exercise without, right? The energy that you want to have is the energy of the thighs hugging in, right? So again, knees are a little bit soft, so it's just shy of locking the knees nice and firm through your thighs. Right? Standing tall again, crown of your head lifts up, shoulders relax down and away. Just gonna lift the toes up away from the floor and press the balls of your feet down into the floor. Just peek down and notice if you're rolling to the outer edges of your feet, right? So that you might have the big toes lifted up a little further and the little toes might not be lifting up very high. See if you can lift the outer edges of your feet up, right? And so all the toes are coming up evenly as best you can. And now spread the toes wide and then lay the toes back down. Maybe feel like your feet just got a little bit wider. And then once again, feel the energy from the soles of your feet up your legs, through your spine, through your crown. Full breath in. Slow breath out. Good. Now you're just going to simply rock your body weight forward like you're coming into the balls of your feet, right? Heels are barely touching. And then exhale back to center. And now inhale, shift the weight into your feet, lift your toes up. And then exhale back to center. Shifting the weight into your left leg, all the way over. Exhale back to center. Shifting weight into the right leg. And exhale back to center. Forward again. Feel the body weight shift to the balls of your feet. Squeeze your thighs without locking your knees. Exhale back to center. Into the heels, toes lift. Exhale back to center. Shift to the left leg, squeeze your thigh. See what has to happen for your weight to shift. That energy all the way up through the standing leg. Exhale back to center. And then weight shifts to the right, squeezing the right thigh, the right hip. And then exhale back to center. Good. So using your support if you need it. Right, grounding down through your feet. When you breathe in, you're going to lift this time, lift the toes up away from lift the heels up away from the floor. And then exhale, heels come back down. And then into the heels, once again, the toes lift. Maybe they lift a little further. You might allow yourself to lean back a little bit more. Back to center, exhale. Weight shifts to the left leg. The right heel might hover. You might even pick your foot up off from the floor. Strong standing leg, and then exhale back to center. Shift the weight to the right leg. Left foot lifts. You might even need 2 chairs here. Exhale back to center. Good. Now we're just going to come up on the toes again, and this time using the arms. So as though you had a block, squeeze between your inner thighs, fire up the muscles of your thighs, feel your heels rooting down, feel your navel draw in and up and your tailbone just slightly hugging down. Right, so you're nice and strong from the heels all the way up through your spine. So you're going to breathe in, come onto the balls of your feet, lift your heels, and now lift your arm up. And then exhale, slowly coming back down. And then breathing in, balls of the feet, heels lift. Squeeze your calf muscles, squeeze your thighs. Exhale, back to center. Twice more. Breathing in. And breathing out. And breathing in. Squeeze your thigh muscles nice and strong. And back to center. And I'm just going to turn the toes out and the heels in just a little, heels in, toes out. Feet are just a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. We're just going to do the same exercise up and down on the toes, right? So again, when you come up on the toes, it's a hugging in of your upper inner thighs to give you lift. So again, grounding down through feet, draw the energy upward, find your strong, steady center, tailbone tuck, navel drawing in toward your spine. Right now, so now the heels are going to lift up. Take a breath. I'm going to try not to roll to the outer edges of your feet. And then coming back down, exhale. And then squeezing in, lifting up, like you're hugging the block between your inner thighs. Coming down, keep hugging the block, imaginary or real. Coming back up. And down. And up. And down. Good, and just relax. Go ahead and shake out your feet a little bit. Good. So we're going to start low to the ground and kind of work our way up, progressive difficulty, and just having your props will be able to give you some modifications, right? So just use your best judgment. If you're not feeling steady or if you're feeling at all dizzy or lightheaded, please stop. You can play this video as many times as you need to for instruction. If you're not feeling up to it today, please don't take any chances to lose your balance and create a situation where you might fall. So that said, have all your props with you, and we're gonna first come into tree pose. So tree pose, if you have a block or a book or something that you can put between your feet, it's a nice way to start, right? So that you're starting with your feet hip width distance apart. And then strong in your standing legs. Both legs are standing. Lift upward through your spine, tailbone tucking down and firming your belly muscles, find your center. Okay? You're just gonna bring your hands to your hips, right? And just a little pressure in on your hips. That can really bring you a sense of grounding and balance. Try not to hike the shoulders up, let the shoulders remain relaxed, right? So you're gonna shift the weight into your left leg. So right here, before you go any further, notice what happens. You gotta squeeze your thigh without locking your knee, squeezing the buttock muscle, and then feeling a little bit of lift right up through the waist. So you're lifting up out of the hip. Right? And then just simply bring the right foot to the block. Okay? And then you can just kickstand your heel on the inside of your left foot, your left shin. Right? And so you're opening the right knee out to the right. You're pressing down with your standing leg, drawing that energy up, squeezing the buttock muscle, squeezing the hip in. Right? And this is a nice place to stay. Right? You could bring your hands together in front of your heart. You could practice lifting your foot up and then just kind of placing your foot on the inner standing leg below your knee. If you're more advanced or you want to have a little bit more of a challenge, you can bring your right foot way up on the inside of your left leg. Just make sure that it's way above your knee. Okay? And if you have this position, start to press your heel into your thigh and your thigh back into your heel. So wherever you feel most balanced, and especially where you can move your breath. Right? So if you've gone into a version of the posture where you're losing control of that steady inflow and outflow of your breath, right? You've gone a little too far. So kind of take it back down, find your breath, and you can always step back into the challenge. Okay? So once you find where you're comfortable and steady, any arm variation that you'd like to try, bringing cactus shape, bringing the arms up. You could send your gaze up. Right? Smooth and easy breath. Find each exhale a sense of grounding down. Good. Breathing in. And breathing out. Take another full breath. Float your hands back to your heart. Hands come to your hips. And then lower the right foot down. Good. And just notice how you feel. Okay? There's a lot of energy, lots of work, lots of strengthening in your standing leg. Okay? And so we shift sides. So standing firm on your right leg, right? Start to shift the weight. Okay? Before you even move your left foot, notice that change and that shift of the energy of your standing leg. Not locking the knee, but squeezing strong through your thigh. Hugging your buttock muscle in so you're stabilizing your hip. Creating length up through the sides of your waist without hiking your shoulder up. Shoulders are still relaxed. And then floating the left foot up. Okay, so you know your options. Toes can stay right on your block or books. Okay. Hands can stay at hips. Right. You could move your foot up and down as many times as you need to. And if you want to rock the foot all the way up on the upper inner thigh, upper inner right thigh, feel free. Okay? Just avoid placing your foot over your knee. Standing tall, strong, drawing the energy up from the sole of your foot, through your leg, up through the side of your waist. Shoulders and heart space soft. And again, any variations with your arms, heart center, cactus. You could open wide like a V. You can bring your hands above you, spin your palms up toward the sky. Check in with your breath, right? Your breath is your barometer. And if you're not breathing comfortably and steady, take it down a little bit. Recenter, find your breath. So you have a couple more breaths. See if you can soften your face and your jaw. Take one more breath. Hands come to heart center. Hands come to your hips. And then lower the left foot down. Good. Go ahead and shake out your legs a little bit. So moving on to airplane pose. So again, if you have a wall or a couch, a chair, you can certainly stand to face for support, having the support out in front of you, and I'm actually going to demonstrate with that. Okay? So you're going to step one foot back behind you, okay? And then hands to your hips, so both legs straight. Okay? Feel the soles of your feet. Okay? Feel your pelvis dropping down, drawing that energy in and up through your center. And like you're coming into a lunge, okay? Bend your front knee, swing your arms behind you. Bring your arms up, take a big breath. And then as you exhale, sweep your arms back, bring your weight into your front leg, and just lift your back foot up away from the floor. Hands can be on your chair. You can stop here and just hover your lifted legs, squeeze your thigh, flex your foot. And also let the leg come up a little higher. Finding the chest lifting up, okay? Keeping your hands on support. Arms can come behind you, one at a time or both. Palms toward the floor, fingers spread wide. See if you can pull your shoulders back behind you, opening up your heart forward. Take a big breath in, and take a slow breath out. You could always move your arms out in front of you, coming into more of a warrior three. Breathing in, and breathing out, firing up that standing leg. Take another full breath in, and then slowly coming back to center. And both feet on the ground, shake out your legs just a little bit. Notice your heart rate. Take a couple breaths, let it just kind of settle back and down. And then taking the other side. So step your other foot back behind you, hands to your hips, grounded and planted in your feet. Right, supporting leg, front leg is going to be strong and stable. Arms come down behind you, bend yourself into a lunge. Arms come up, take a big breath. Sweep your arms back behind you and come into your airplane pose. Hands can stay right on the chair. Okay. Foot can hover as your chest lifts and come up and down. Again, strong standing leg. Don't lock out your knees, squeeze your thighs, squeeze your buttock muscle. And now you can float that back leg up any amount in any position with your arms. Right? One or both arms back behind you. One or both arms out in front of you. Breathing steady, breathing strong. Reaching forward with your fingertips, pulling back with your heel as you flex your foot, squeeze your thigh muscle. Full breath in. Slow breath out. Take one more breath, and then coming all the way back down. Good. Take a moment and relax. You might even bring your hands to heart center. Check in again and reground. Sensing your beating heart. Feel your breath slow down a little bit. Cultivating just a little bit of patience. Right? It takes a while to reground. And then when you're stable, then you're really ready to move on. All right. So back to the support if you need it. It's always close by. You can always use it or not. It's better to have it there. All right. You're going to once again find your mountain pose. Heels rooting down, thighs squeezing without locking your knees. Right, navel drawing in a little bit, just kind of little hugging in of your belly muscles, pelvic floor drawing in, and little tiny tuck of your tailbone. Strong, steady mountain, right, to be complete support of your balance. So you're drawing that energy right up through your leg. Shifting the weight into your left leg again. You're going to draw your right knee up toward your chest. So you can hold on either to the front of your knee. You could hook your hand underneath, right? You could even take a strap, right, or a towel if that's easier to help lift the leg up. Wherever you are, it's a strong, again, strong standing left leg. Try not to sit into the hip. You're squeezing the buttock muscle to keep the leg straight. Thigh engages without locking your knee. Okay. Option to stay here. You could start to open your right knee out to the right. So again, that tendency is to sink into the hip. Try to keep that hip lifted, right, without hiking your right knee up. Right? Keep it level to the floor. You can always bring that left arm out for counterbalance. Last step would be to shift your gaze out over your left hand. Strong standing right leg, long through your waist, steady and comfortable. That's what we're looking for. Take a full breath in. Take a slow breath out. Bring your knee back to center. And then lower your foot to the floor. Take a moment. Land. Reground. Come back into your breath. Let's come to the other side. Right. And you know that you can always pause the video, come back whenever you're ready. Mountain pose from your feet, your legs, through your spine, and then gather in your center. Weight shifts to your right leg. Squeeze your right thigh without locking your knee and feel the support under the sole of your foot. Left leg lifts up. And then you take any option with the hand or using the strap or belt around to hold up. Right. Strong and lifted. Try to not to hike the knee up. And just keep it in line with the hip. Long and strong through your right side and through your waist. Connected from the heel to the crown of your head. And from here you stay or slowly open your left knee out. Again, try not to let the hip sink. Try not to hike the hip up to maintain your balance. Right? It's as though you were standing in your mountain pose on your right side. Staying here or float your arm. You could turn your gaze and look out over your right palm or fingertips. Finding your breath, moving in. Finding your breath, moving out. Good, moving in. And moving out. Bring your knee back through center. And then slowly lower your foot down to the floor. Reground again. Heels, legs. Let gravity take all the weight down. Land and breathe. And then you gather what you need to draw back up. Finding your mountain pose again. So we're going to come into dancer's pose. Again, this is where your strap can be helpful. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate it standing sideways so that I can hold on for a little bit of support. You could have a chair, a table, a wall, or if you don't need support, then you don't need support. Okay, so if you're going to support yourself with a strap, you're going to bend your knee, okay, and then just loop the strap around your heel. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to take your hand to the outside of your heel or your foot, okay, and Get used to your standing leg kind of supporting you. Right? So standing leg is strong, squeezing your thigh again without locking your knee. And there's just a little tuck of the tailbone underneath. That should bring a stretch to the front of your lifted leg. So you want to keep your chest lifted, keep your shoulders back behind you. This might be enough of a challenge right here, particularly if you have tight quadricep muscles. Otherwise, if you want to move forward, you're going to simply kick your lifted knee back, keeping your chest lifted. And then you start to let yourself lean a little bit forward as you press your foot toward the wall behind you, right? And lift your knee and thigh up away from the floor. You could stay here. You could extend your arm forward, reaching out through your fingertips as much as you're pushing back through the opposite foot. Good. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Easy in and let it go. Take one more breath and then very gently reverse and lower down. Reground. It helps to let those breaths out the mouth once in a while. Good. So you take it to the other side. Bending your knee, catching your foot, your ankle, right? And then drawing the thighs in toward each other. And then you find your mountain pose, strong standing leg. You bring your knees in line, a little tuck of your tailbone under, lifting up through your spine, bringing your shoulders back behind you. Good. And then staying here, or start to kick back your lifted foot. Almost like you're kind of sliding your knee back behind you. There'll be a point where you need to start tipping yourself forward. Don't let yourself just go all the way down, right? You can only tip forward only as much as you're pulling your heel back behind you. It's as though I'm trying to straighten my knee. Okay, so keeping the chest lifted, and then maybe a little bit back. Sorry, a little bit forward. And I have less balance on this side, so I'm not going to move my arm, but you could certainly feel free to extend front arm forward. Breathing strong and steady. Full breath in and slow breath out. And breathing in and breathing out. Good. Take one more full long inhale and then reverse and then slowly release back down. Coming back to your mountain pose. Maybe close your eyes, join your palms together. Maybe place a hand over your heart and your other hand on top. I don't know about you, my heart's beating pretty fast. And when you're ready, we'll come back to mountain pose. If you're not quite ready, pause the video and then just restart it. So recognizing, knowing when you can stand your ground, right? Knowing when you feel grounded and trusting. Right? So it's a practice. All right. So this is going to be a variation of eagle pose or figure four pose, right? It's really meant to strengthen the inner thighs. We're not going to work with the arms today, so just with the legs. So you want to make sure that you're soften both of your legs, right? So you're almost like you're sitting down in a chair. Then you start to bring your weight into your left leg. Squeeze your thigh, squeeze your buttock muscle right here. Bring your right knee up and over, and then squeeze your inner thighs together, right? Knees are hugging together. Your toes can come right down on the floor, right? Or you could lift your toes, kind of hug them in against your shin. You could wrap them around if you have that range with your ankle, right? And then the key is to inner thigh squeeze. Squeeze inward, squeeze top to bottom. still bending, standing leg, and sitting your hips down and back. Good, staying here, right? You can bring your hands to heart center. Try to get your back as though you're trying to lean your back into the wall behind you. So you're not pitching yourself forward, right? That's where you start. And then just gradually inch yourself back without straightening your standing leg. Okay. So you can soften your gaze, soften your jaw, sitting back just a little bit more, finding your breath, slow and steady. Good, breathing in and breathing out. One more long inhale, and then exhale, release, and sweep your arms up. Just take them in a big circle, and bring your hands to heart center. Easy breath in, easy breath out. Good. And again, let yourself take the time that you need to reground yourself. Balance is different every day, so the challenge might feel completely different than it will tomorrow or than it did yesterday. Heart beating, breath moving, lengthening out your breath, calming your nerves. Right, and when you're ready, we're going to come to the other side. Start with the bent knees. So you're sitting down in a chair. Squeeze your thighs and then fire up the standing leg. Right? And now left knee comes up and over, hugging your inner thighs all the way down to the knees in toward each other from the side, top to bottom. Right? And again, toes can come right down on the floor and then squeezing back to the inner thighs. Try to get your spine up and back behind you as you sit your hips down and back behind you. It's a lot of work for your legs here. And wherever you are with your balance, you could stay on support. You could bring hands together in front of your heart. Shoulders down and back. Hips sink down, but the navel draws in and up. Pelvic floor energy draws in and up, even though the hips are sinking down. Take a big long breath. Take a slow exhale. And breathing in. And breathing out. Take one more breath. And then slowly release. Feet come down, arms sweep up, take a big breath in. And hands come to heart center, exhale. Deep breath in. And open your mouth, exhale. I'm right with you. So I have one more posture to try today, and this is completely optional, but I'm going to show you a couple ways to do it. We're going to try half moon pose, and there's a couple of ways to do it using a chair, but you probably want to have a wall space or something, definitely a wall space. If you can rock half moon and do it on your own, feel free, go ahead. Right? Otherwise, I'm going to break it down and show you where you can kind of pause and play with it, and you kind of know how to come in and out of it safely. So I'm going to start with demonstrating with the chair. So you're going to bring your chair right next to your wall, and then you're going to stand with your heels 4 inches or so away from the wall, or 3 or 4 inches, so that if you were to lean back, the wall is right there. You don't feel like you have to go far back to find the wall. So go where it's comfortable. You just definitely don't want your heels against the wall. Right, so you're going to step your feet out wide apart, and you're going to come into your warrior 2, right, with your bent knee facing the chair. Good. Nice long spine, and bring your arms out nice and long. Good. Reverse your warrior. Bring some length right up into that left side of your body, and then come into side angle lunge. Good. So in side angle lunge, you're halfway to half moon. So you're gonna take your left hand, place it on the chair, okay? And then you're simply gonna start to shift the weight into your left leg, and then just kind of scoot the right leg up behind you. Come a little closer. Eventually you might lean into the wall and lift your leg up away from the floor, any amount. You might get it up to hip height. Roll your shoulders so you're leaning into the wall behind you, and full expression of the pose would be to lift your right arm up. Okay, you could always lift your gaze up. Maybe, maybe not. Good. Breath in and breath out. Come out of the pose by bringing your hand to your hip. Good. Start to lower your knee, your legs, soften your knee. Put lots of weight into the support and find a soft landing and coming right back up. How'd that feel? It's kind of freeing. Even if you're just watching, right? Just imagine yourself doing it. Right? And then someday you just might. So we'll do it one more time, right? Feet are about 3 or 4 inches away from the wall. You're gonna bring the legs wide, right? And then come into your warrior two. Strong warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Lots of length, right? And then bring your hand to, bring yourself to side angle lunge, right? Sinking your hips down. You're halfway to half moon. So you start to extend your hand out, find your chair, and bring your hand to your hip. Just inch your back foot forward a little bit, and then eventually, I'm a little close with the chair. Your leg might lift. Now lean into the wall, then lift the leg. Okay. Arm might lift. And if you're practicing at home with someone, maybe they can spot you and you can each take a turn, right? And again, you could take this in steps. You might even be halfway there, right? You might even just have your hovering your foot up and down. You might just kind of practice doing this, right? So wherever you are, hand comes to your hip, knee bends, and then soft, soft landing. Good. And so I'll demonstrate it one more time each side using blocks or books. So same placement of, so you can use 1 block, 2 block, or no blocks. I'm going to demonstrate with a couple of blocks. So I take 1 block flat, 1 up a little higher, right? And you can always just use books and stack them up, right? So I place them pretty much against the wall, and you find that same stance, a few inches away from the wall, but just close enough that you feel the wall's right there if you can lean back into it. Okay? And warrior two, and you reverse, side angle lunge, hand to hip, lean yourself back into the wall, and find your block, and then inch your back foot forward a little bit, and lean against the wall and lift. Good, flex your lifted legs, squeeze your thigh, right? You might extend your arm up. You might extend your gaze up. Wherever you are, you're breathing in and you're breathing out. Good. And just at a point not to lock out the standing leg knee, right? You're still a little soft bend in the knee and squeezing your thigh. Stay as long as you like. When you're ready to come out, it's the same. Hand comes to your hip. Bring the leg down, soften your standing knee. Soft, soft landing. All right, one more side. And again, you pause for as long as you need between sides. And that's the beauty of a video, is you can come right back to it. Feet apart. Warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Side angle. Lean back into the wall, feel your support. Hand comes to your block. Okay. And then start to inch your back foot forward, lean into the wall, and float up. Any amount. Arm can lift. Gaze can like you're lifting up toward the ceiling with your top hand. Take a big breath. When you're ready to come down, hand comes to your hip. Soften your knee and float with control all the way up. Bring your arms out in a big circle, full breath in. And hands together at heart center. The long breath in through your nose. And out from your mouth. And bring one hand over your heart, other hand on top. Once again, feel your heartbeat. The precious beating of your precious heart. Feeling the life-giving energy of your steady breath. Feeling the energy of your body through the soles of your feet. Up through the crown of your head. Trying to find that balance between earth and sky. Bring yourself right into the middle. Steady, comfortable, and grounded. Hands come together at heart center. And beautiful practice. Have fun with this. And as I said, use your best judgment. If you're not feeling up to it, please don't attempt something that you don't feel comfortable doing. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Happy to help any way that I can. Until next time, namaste.